So they handcuffed me, chucked me in the lockup in Taman Tun. It's a high concentrate of Malays and Muslim, and we were selling pork.
What would have Roen been in Australia right now?
Did.
I'd like to introduce Roen. Now, we've known each other, like I said, for 16 years, right? You were an account director at the time. Or was it associate account director? What was it?
Yeah, I didn't know the difference, but associate was what was on the name card. And I think we met in Grey.
Yeah.
Grey Worldwide. I'd come from across the pond at Leo Burnett, I think. Yeah, I was down the road at Leo Burnett.
Cigarette account.
Yeah, and then cigarette account brought me. Worth mentioning because that was Vice products, and I've always just kind of dwelled in beer, liquor, tobacco, and vices of the world. Didn't really like you when I met you. But I was like kind of forced to work with you because
no choice.
So it's like, and then you being of Indian descent, and I'm like half Indian descent.
It just didn't work.
I'll just give you a chance, you know. So, few lunches later, few company trips later, yeah, and we're friends. So that was I guess how we met.
When what was the day that you had to choose the tier A BAT girls to sell cigarettes?
Wow. We're talking about that. Okay, yeah. So I used to hire girls to sell cigarettes.
Yeah.
Which is an actual job. It still goes on. And I had the tough task of like interviewing these girls. And
he needed help. He needed help with selection.
It was a very subjective sort of interview. And I needed help, so I reached out to some friends who'd come attend these interviews with these girls. It was pretty daunting for the girls, I think.
No, it wasn't daunting. It was daunting for us. Because we had to make sure that we chose the right girls based on everybody's choice, not just ours. Yeah.
And you ending up marrying a Chinese girl, and so did I. So I guess in these interviews it was like, it was quite easy. I wonder why all these girls are Chinese.
Yeah, and then you started working on Digi, right? That's actually when we really started working together.
Then we worked together officially, and we sit in meetings and have lunches and whatnot. And
then when did you decide to start with your friends on TDH?
That was 2009, 2010, I want to say. And because I grew up in Taman Tun, and we used to patronize this bar called Sid's Pub. Back then it was like a buzzword, and we'd sit there every night, and it was busy, but we didn't really see like what was the appeal. So we're like, hey, you know what, let's replicate this, try to do it better. So we found 4 more friends. We budgeted about 250,000 ringgit to do it, which we stayed within budget barely, and we created, and I named it and worked on designing Tom, Dick and Harry's.
I wrote the story.
You wrote the story. You wrote the menu and the story, and we did that. And it was interesting because breaking it down, we just simply said we'll do 5 things better. So they would do Guinness and we would do Whole Garden, because at that time it was a big deal. We had those really nice mugs and stuff. And then we thought that we could do it cooler than them. We thought we could do better food and more innovative kind of drinks, like product, let's call it product, better than them. And back on community, we used to do runs, and we'd have like the cooler kids in them.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So then we just kept going down the list, and we're like, okay, our staff going to be better and things like that. And it ended up being lucrative. It was a very successful business for what money had put into it. And before we knew it, it was just like gangbusters, like let's open more, let's do more stuff with it and things like that. So
you opened right beside Sid's, right? Like next few
the same row as
next
them.
to Sid's, right? And then obviously their business began to decline thanks to...
No, they had their own clientele. I think they had their own clientele. It's just that we saw it like a low-lying fruit, because there's only so many people you can fit in your 1,600 square feet. And then we just opened one down the road, which is I may add, it's terribly rebellious because in Taman Tun, it's a high concentrate of Malays and Muslim, and we were selling pork.
Yeah.
So we just, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that you were doing alcohol, pork, and opening late, and it was just like going gangbusters. So we got in a bit of trouble, but I usually do get in a bit of trouble.
I remember this when you opened the hill. It was a lot of wood stuff around, and I remember you doing most of it or a lot of it yourself, right? So the sawing of the stuff and then the moving all of why it's not easy.
There's a few answers why. Like if you lead by example, which is what I've been taught, then just get your hands dirty and lead by example, and you'd get your staff and your colleagues and all just really working at it. I'm extremely hands-on till now. I just built a home, and I'm very hands-on. The point of the story is that I learn a lot till today. I turned 44 in November. I still want to learn, just learn even simple things and how things move and operate and function. So that the only way of doing that is just really getting deep diving and hands dirty kind of thing.
But you had a little experience, of course, in the restaurant business, right? With TDH. So that contributed to your understanding of stock keeping and the kind of stuff that you needed over there, the kind of audience you would be targeting. But then you chose one of the most high society residential areas to make noise. Why? You always talk about location. It was a really good location. Yeah.
There's no two ways about it. It's the minute I looked at it, and we just had to do it. And that was Dex Lee with me at the time. And we were just wowed, and it hadn't even been built. The structure was like, wow, imagine what we could do with this, the potential. So we went ahead and did it. It was a rough ride, and
you had to soundproof it afterwards.
Yeah,
right?
we did a lot of work, and we just continuously did work, but we did well financially. It was lucrative. People were coming. This is pre-Instagram. This is pre-Facebook. This is you can't buy Facebook ads, It's just the product has to be good. And if the product's good, the word spreads. And that's the best form of marketing we know,
Yeah.
It's legitimately people are telling their friends, you got to go check out this spot. And boom, it was can't tell you numbers, but it was good. It was very good.
I know you decided to because I remember how much you used to bitch about
that's
being
a bad word.
Underpaid at Grey. Your words. I remember. I don't know why I remember this.
Probably know the number as well.
I think I know the number.
I did an interview once and I revealed that number, and later on I bumped into my ex-boss, and I won't tell you who his name is.
Yeah.
Or you know him?
Yeah.
And he's like, you shouldn't have said that. So I'm not going to reveal numbers now.
Yeah, no.
But the reason why I say it, it's not because it's like a FU to the industry kind of thing. It's just that I don't feel that the industry was good to me. And when I say me, I mean a local.
Yeah.
I mean us. And it wasn't good. Clients don't treat you well. Your ideas fall on deaf ears. I came from a rebellious background. I just wanted to see my idea come to life. You can tell me it's not going to work. Doesn't matter. Thank you very much. Let me go try.
Yeah.
So I just kept doing that. I get so frustrated in advertising. I was getting frustrated that I left Malaysia and I took interviews in Australia and the UK because I just wanted to get out of here. I thought the scene would be different. I was born in the UK, so it wasn't hard for me to get a job there. I got permanent residency in Australia, so it wouldn't be hard to get a job. And then I went out there, and that was on the verge of either doing Tom, Dick and Harry's or living abroad. So one thing led to another, and I was quite fortunate that I think I didn't go abroad to live.
Yeah. What would have Roen been in Australia right now?
Dead. Quite sure of that.
Then happened Pool.
Then happened Pool.
Pool happened really well till it didn't.
pool happened well, but short.
Yeah.
It was like really that saying like you're there for a good time, not a long time. Because we made hay while the sun shine,
Yeah.
and then we got shut down.
Yeah. It was a
So-
hit and run.
It wasn't my plan to hit and run,
No.
but as an entrepreneur, it's easy to say now, you never know what's happening tomorrow.
Yeah.
So they handcuffed me, they chucked me in the lockup, not jail. You know, lockup, there's a difference.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was a pool, right? For those who
Yeah.
are unaware, there's a pool, there's a DJ, and on Sunday, we do business between 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. And that was just 12 hours of income. Yeah, it was I won't lie, it's the most fun time of my life. The pool, I have memories of the pool that changed my life because it was a unique kind of business and that was cool, but I met my wife there. Not but in a bad way, it was a good thing, you know?
Yeah.
Because I just slowed down after I changed the way I think. We're married, got a bunch of kids, not a bunch, two. Feels like a bunch.
That's a bunch.
Feels like a bunch. And yeah, that was a good like twist of fate.
So you brought her up. Let's pull that string a little bit. Because I remember back in the day.
She wasn't 5 when I met her.
No, you brought her up as in you brought her up in topic right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Raised her.
No, yeah.
She's 23 when I met her.
Yeah, okay. All right. So, and you were?
I'm 8 years older. I was at the time and I still am. That's how it works. But yeah, she's more mature.
Yeah.
And she still is.
But
And
she
I'm
was
like-
Miss Malaysia.
So that makes her mature?
Yeah, I mean that kind of
really?
level of competition when you have to go abroad and you've got to represent the country. I think that kind of brings a certain sense of maturity.
It does,
right?
but I just think that's her nature. Like she's like the leader in the family. And she got a scholarship to go away when she's younger. So there's a lot of life experiences that made her like mature and you know.
I think you've had a fair bit of experience serial dating, right? Back then, right? And then you suddenly decided to, okay, I'm hitting the brakes on this one because this is the one. Why was she the one?
It almost didn't happen.
Huh.
Yeah, it almost didn't happen. It's 10 years running and it just, there was a little break in between and I mean, everyone knows that.
Yeah.
It was tough. Not because of her. It's just tough doing these businesses. You sit in the office in the day, you grind it at night, you're working at night, you're talking to clients, customers, whatever. It's a lot of hours, right? Like I never make excuses in business, okay? But I also will say that it doesn't happen accidentally. None of the success, and I'm not successful yet, but none of the success is accidental. So there's just tremendous amounts of work. So I needed to be sure if you're on this journey, you understand that. Whether you're a business partner, whether you're a life partner, you understand what's going on here. You don't always get me, right? So we structured a few things and just try to wrap our head around it. We had the same goals. We wanted to start a family, you know, and she just was very, very understanding with where we were going to go. And then obviously over the years, it was the true colors in a good way comes out and then you end up where you are now.
So, I mean, look, from my experience as well, I think if you've got a pillar at home, then you can really do anything that you want outside, as in work-wise. You can really take on
Work-wise.
qualifier. You can really put yourself out there, take risks, hustle, you know, put in the hours and become successful. That's true, right?
Yeah, I think that saying is all true. And obviously some wise, rich businessman came up with that. But it is also a tremendous amount of work for the person sitting at home.
Yes.
Business is easier than kids.
Really?
Studying is easier than kids.
Oh, you're kidding me.
It's because it's not 1 + 1. I hated studying, dude.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I'm dumb as rocks. It's just that it's hard because they're growing. Their mind's growing.
Yeah.
You know, but if you take it on in a very positive way. You know, you want to learn, you want to understand, which I do. Then it becomes quite fun. I mean, you created them, so you see it differently. And you know, like advice for like new parents and all, it gets better. It does. In the initial stage, we're at each other's neck. Like it doesn't add up, right?
Right.
But it gets better. It really does. I'm in a fun stage. My kids are 5 and 7. My girls. Shay's 7, Bella's 5, and we're just hanging out every day. Just before this interview, we're just like shooting the shit at home, and we're just like talking about. I treat them like adults.
So what kind of conversations do you have? Because they're exposed to a lot of shit now, right?
So set up a room at home where there's 4 sofas, 2 facing each other, and we have this thing called family meetings. It's all staged, right? And if one of the kids does something wrong, or you want to announce something good, like we're gonna Perth for holiday, and I don't know why they think Perth's a great place. It's okay. Yeah. And then we'll sit down and it's like, okay guys, we're having a meeting. Oh. So you don't know, like you're second guessing, is this positive? Is this good? What have I done? Shit. And then you sit down and then we do that. So like I want them to like learn in that way. So there's a lot of it that like how my parents would parent me, but I just want to extract like what I remember as being good from that, with all due respect to my mom and dad.
Yeah.
And then there's of course my wife, who has her own way. So that's the check and balance. But yeah.
Your parents live with you.
They do, yeah.
I personally think that's fantastic. But 4 adults living in one house, is that?
I think it depends on who they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if they establish the ground rules, which is who's living with who kind of thing, and do we have more fun having more people around, enjoying what we enjoy? Yeah. We've established that, and you get a little bit of help with the kids here and there. I mean, I'm not going to complain about that.
I mean, look, even when we were working in Grey, and much after as well, you were still living at home.
Yeah.
So that equation is, I think, already set. Your parents are fantastic. I remember the bar that you had in your place with the whole neon lights thing happening and all that, and then drinking with your dad, and your mum comes and we're talking, and it was. I think they treated you well.
That's it. So it depends who it is.
Yes.
And they're cool.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't hide any secrets from them from day one. I can drink. I can do whatever I want. Yeah. So we just live together like friends. You know, and let's call it, I lived with them for that many years. Now they live with me for that many years. And that's the way I've decided it will be, because I do have 2 other brothers, but I live the whole time with them. So I will put my hand up, not the oldest brother, but I'll put my hand up and say, hey, I'll take care of them to the end.
But speaking of secrets and no secrets from your parents, was it Mother's Day or was it your mom's birthday? Long time ago as kids, when you had a piece of furniture taken from somewhere and placed into your...
Oh wow, lovely. We want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Well, we wanted to give my mom a birthday present. We had no money. So like we actually grew up, we grew up poor, right? So that's not just, it's a cool thing to say, but we actually grew up poor.
Yeah.
So, but you know, you want to do something for your loved ones. So we sort of like borrowed the furniture.
Borrowed.
We haven't given it back.
Yeah.
But my mom's not complaining. she kind of knows it's not new.
Where did you borrow it from?
A neighbor. She's not complaining. Neither's the neighbor. Probably neighbor's dead. So I would know.
You're the middle child, right?
I don't suffer from middle child syndrome.
Yeah.
But I am the middle child.
Oh, so that's what I was going to ask you, because is it, I think because there's a huge gap between you and Buddy, right?
7 years.
7 years. So you were pretty much the younger child for the longest time, and you could get away with a lot of shit first.
No? It wasn't like that. It just wasn't. I remember it wasn't like that. It's just because it was like you were very disciplined. Also, when I say disciplined loosely, it's we didn't have a lot, right? So, okay, when I say we didn't have a lot, we lived in one bed, in one bedroom, in my uncle's house, and slept on the floor, on a mattress. So, the only reason why I add all that is because we didn't expect a lot.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't expect a lot. And it's funny because when the one generation later, I'm not saying my kids are spoiled rotten. Largest challenge of it is to try and get my kids not spoiled. And you know, they go to international school and all that. Is that like, it's inconceivable. But we want to try and teach them this. Like the other day I took my kid, we're in a coffee shop, and then my second kid's like, this place is too smelly. So she doesn't want to eat there. And then another time, my kid's like, when she looked at this, you know the toilets where you got to squat, right? And she's like, Daddy, that's not a toilet. I'm like, what do you mean that's not a toilet? That's how we used to roll, man, you know? So that's a large challenge, right? Like parenting right now, when let's say you have a bit more means and you want to just give the best to your kid. And it's not a lot, but it's still more than what we used to have.
It's a lot
so it's very
more
different.
Than what
it's
you had.
a very different parenting. And that's what it's not about me. This is just like all my peers and all my friends. They work so hard in the day and they're like, I just give anything to my kids, which I don't think is the best way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm a pro parenting, but I'm not sure that's the best way. The point, back to your question, is like, if they learn the value of money and ethics and morals and hard work. When I say hard work, I mean like cleaning your plates and throwing the trash or something. So we're gonna have to structure some things at home, like a company. It's like today you throw the
here's your
wash the
JD.
dishes,
That's your JD. You gotta do this.
This is your KPI. I'll speak to you next week.
With so many businesses, first, how many businesses do you have? And can you count them all on one hand or two hands?
No, it's not a lot. I think that one of the lucky things or the best things that happened was to diverse out of F&B. Whether it was deliberate, accidental, led by passion. From the whole bar, restaurant, cafe business, I started to build football fields because of my passion for kicking a football. We have 11 centers.
11 centers.
11 fields.
Football fields.
Football, AstroTurf, LED floodlights. It's not futsal.
Wow.
So out of the passion of kicking a football, I was like, and don't get me wrong, I didn't do this for the people. I was just like, initially, it's so hard to find a good football field in a country with so much land. So like studying in Australia, I was like, every suburb, right?
Yeah.
They got good football fields, they got the academy, you work your way up, blah, blah, blah. And I was like looking at facilities and I was like, I went to UC and I trained at Australian Institute of Sport, AIS, like your Bukit Jalil. I was like, whoa, this is wow, right? So I'm like gathering some ideas here and there, and then we built and found 2 partners who are equally as passionate as me, and one partner who ran the largest academy in Malaysia, football academy for the youths, a guy named Andy Johnston. And I just met him and my other partner from kicking a football, just like battling each other. Sometimes we're not in the same team, but I made a lot of friends from that.
You actually make friends play football because you're very aggressive.
If you're in the same team, you make friends, but if you're on the opposing
you make
side,
a lot of enemies, don't you?
there's guys who like, sometimes you just bump into, hey bro, last time you kicked my leg, you know. What? You remember that? How few people kicked you? Hey, sorry. So like, we met like heaps of guys from playing football, and I turned that sort of like passion into a business.
Yeah.
Started building fields and not stopping there. Just we find like land that's fairly urban, we'll build more.
Your common ground thing happened a few years before the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
And that's continued? You still part of the common ground thing, or have you kind of sold off everything?
No. I have my shares, and we actually got bigger because we merged with a company called Hive, and we've become number one in Southeast Asia.
Is it listed?
Not yet,
Okay.
but that's the aim.
Okay.
That's the game plan.
Did the pandemic? Of course, the pandemic ruined a lot of that part of the business, right? The common ground thing. But has it come back to 2019 levels? I know coming into business, but has it come back to
It's a
2019
business
levels?
that you legally can fight that you don't have to pay rentals because just like football, you don't have to pay those rentals. So unfortunately or fortunately, if you do let go of major staff, most staff, then you're coasting. You're okay.
Okay. But what do you mean by you don't have to pay rentals? You
As in, if a business, okay, for example, you're legally not allowed to kick a football, right? So people cannot play football. So I can't rent my premises to somebody. So you can't charge me rent.
Oh.
If not, I'll sue you because I can't rent the field to somebody. You ask me for rent. Just like a mall,
Right.
similar. When the
Okay.
time that you couldn't eat in a restaurant,
You cannot-
ask me for rent, right? So you got to fight case by case. But you have a lot of free time in COVID, if you remember. So you're just sending emails, and then one thing opens up and another doesn't.
And then when
So we
did
did a lot of that.
Circa open up this place?
Just 4.5 years old.
So this is pandemic time, post.
No,
just post-pandemic?
pre-pandemic.
Pre-pandemic.
Way pre-pandemic. Then reopened in pandemic. Post-pandemic.
Right.
And I'll remind you that businesses like this are meant to open as a restaurant. Okay, I'll remind you that it has to open as a restaurant. You could open a bar. You could not open a bar.
What do you mean?
They wouldn't. A necessity is to eat
Right.
food.
At the time. So was this was a restaurant? At
Of
the time?
course it was. It was a full-fledged restaurant with an air fryer, a microwave, and a steamer. Right?
Okay, so it was a restaurant. That's true.
It's a restaurant. I'm not sure people are here for the food, but
It was food.
it's a restaurant. I ate it a lot. So
I didn't know that this was open. Otherwise, yeah. Okay.
But I mean, I say that quite openly because we had to survive. We had the salaries to pay.
Of course.
We didn't know the light at the end of the tunnel. We're just like, oh my God, every day you wake up, you listen to these announcements and like, what's happening? So we needed to just get on with it.
So what I've read is that you have to work hard to be lucky. There are very few people who are just like, ex-bosses and all that, who are very lucky otherwise. But otherwise, there are very few people who are like that. You do have to work very hard in order to earn that luck, right?
You have to work hard to be lucky. You have to work smart to be lucky. It's one or the other, or both. Because if you work smart to be lucky, you surround yourself. That means you're smart to surround yourself with people who are stronger than you in certain things.
Yes.
And that's suddenly you call it luck. Why? Because you're Asian? Because you believe in the feng shui master? And then suddenly you got lucky.
Right.
No, you structured it in a manner. Hard work. You work 100 hours a week. Why? So money comes in. It wasn't luck. You just worked 100 hours a week. So it's hard to answer. I can give you the full answer, but I think you just got to do both. You really have to do both. You have to be hardworking, lead by example, and people see you, you get noticed. And then you got to work smart because if you can, within your means.
So anyone can do it.
Not everyone can do it. I think
can do it.
it's a certain physical fitness and a certain mental fitness. I think you have to maybe train your mind to be that person you want to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you want to be that person so badly, and then you keep going in the right direction. So you hang out with these people and you do this.
As you started to become successful, I know you said that you're not there yet, but to a lot of people, you're quite there. As you became successful over time,
Yeah, go on.
right? How many friends got closer because you became successful, and how many fizzled out?
was way more fizzled out.
Way more fizzled out.
And it is not because they're bad people.
Yeah.
A lot of people perceive you, and it's a large fault on social media and all the social media that you throw out there, okay? You choose to.
Yeah.
Threads, Instagram, you throw it out there.
Yeah.
What they don't realize is majority of my social media is paid work. It's sponsored things.
Yeah.
So they think that Roen is a very busy man. I'll say it on camera, I'm not. I just choose my time when I was shooting the shits with like Slobby or my kids or whatever. That's just that's how my time management is, and that's maybe a bad part of being a businessman, but one of the best parts of being a businessman.
They can always catch up with you here or places.
Oh
that
no,
you
it's
go,
just
right?
you can. If you ride a bike, I've got a group of friends who do that. Now I'm into paddle, and I play with those kids. And you know the parents of my kids in school, they're now my friends, and they're from Korea and wherever. So it's fine, you know. It's okay. I went to, and I mean this with no disrespect at all, I went to a government school, right? It's pretty rough school, and I don't know whether those guys even want to hang out with me. Like, and there's no fault in theirs. You know what I mean, right? Like, I can't be hung up.
Relate to each other.
Yeah, we can't.
Yeah.
We can't. We do different things every day. I can't be hung up about that.
Yeah.
Of course, no. It's not a success thing or whatever. It's just people I get along with. Would you have a drink with me? Would you ride a bicycle with me?
Let's talk about just when we guys first met up, right? That was 16 years ago. From grey days, how many stuck around and
I think that one is a small amount just because we do different things in life. Like, if you are still working in advertising, you'd be an MD of a company, whatever. You would roll with those guys.
Yeah.
But what we do for a living, we pick up on, we're friends with business partners. And we're friends with people who do sport with you. I have a group chat of people who do happy hour versus like go party like freaks till 3 in the morning, because I don't do that. I can't do that. My body doesn't do that.
Seriously, no more?
No. So I got Buddy and KC, who's like 10 years younger than me. I'm real about what I can do and what I can't do.
You and your wife have a common set of friends, but of course you guys have your own separate set of friends, right?
Yeah. I think I do a bit of football trips without her, but she doesn't actually do many trips without us. Although we're doing our first trip without the kids in forever. Yeah.
Where? Can you say
Greece. We're going to Greece.
Nice.
And just without the kids. So
the kids are going to be, parents going to take them?
My parents, Carrie's parents. But they're in school, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. Old.
They're in school till like 3, so that's most of the day.
Speaking of sponsorships, are you still the Adidas
8 years now, yeah.
Wow.
The longest serving, oldest horse they got.
And is that how you meet the likes of
David Beckham 5 times?
Yeah.
Some is that, some's Tatler. David Beckham I met in Hong Kong was staged by Tatler.
It was staged by Tatler, yeah. So you guys like on first name basis now? Hey David, hey yo.
When I saw him, when we met at a bar in Hong Kong, and I was like, hey David, I met you like 2 days ago in KL. I was like, yeah, I remember you. I think he's lying. I'm quite sure he just made that up. He's just really good at PR. So much so that's what makes him like.
Yeah, no, he is really cool. I mean, the Netflix show, I think that was pretty
that
cool.
helped also boost up popularity. But he is the best at PR. He deserves every ounce of success he has. Not the greatest footballer, but then he took it to a success and a monetary level.
He was captain of England, wasn't he? Come on.
Yeah, off and on.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying he's good footballer. He's exceptionally good. But he's not the greatest footballer.
He's not Ronaldo. He's not
He's
Messi.
not Messi.
He's not Messi. Yeah.
But what he did with outside of football is just crazy business-wise. like from owning
Yeah.
teams and endorsement deals, and I keep going.
What about Ryan Reynolds?
Ryan Reynolds, yeah, I'm watching. Actually, it's funny. I just got Disney, and I'm watching his Wrexham show. So yeah, it's funny you bring him up.
I've seen a lot of people who've become rich in their own lifetime, right? Not father's money, and they tend to show it. Flexing, yeah. I don't see you that often, but I don't see you flex it either. How do you hold back from, forget your social media, which is all paid stuff, that's a different thing like you mentioned. How do you hold yourself back from flexing? Difference between wealth and being wealthy and being rich, right? There is a difference. It's not that you don't, I'm not saying that you,
Okay.
but you know, you
Can
don't.
I give you a 4-letter word to answer it?
Yeah, go on.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you can't put that on camera.
Damn
So I'll
it,
give you
then I
another
cannot. Give me another
So I'll give you
word.
another word.
Yeah.
I think that when money is built, and I can say it quite openly, that the third gen burns the money. Okay? So I came from nothing, and I'll do what I do, and I'll let my kids do what they
Whatever.
want to do.
Right.
I'll be dead and gone. You want to flex, whatever. I've got the other issue of that me and my wife have only produced daughters, so I'm gonna marry some dickhead that I've met that don't like him already. And that's another mindfuck for me, you know?
You don't want another kid, a son? Try for
We're not
one?
having it. No. I'm very happy. So, I mean, I don't know how much makes it on camera, but what I'm trying to say here is like, I can do the best for my kids,
Yeah.
but I also don't know their choices in life.
Yeah.
Just like my choices in life, they might be right, wrong, whatever. So it's just, when you put it that way, it's crazy, right? Like, whatever you've done,
Yeah.
whatever you've worked for, it could just go also. I mean, not many people will say that,
Yeah.
but it's a scary fucking thought.
When do you think you have enough?
Yeah, that's a very common question.
Yeah.
I have a number. I have a number in terms of money. When I say money, I mean assets paid for,
Okay.
organic, passive income. But I think that number, believe it or not, is not a very big number. It isn't.
Because you'll have had all your assets paid for, right?
No,
Because
it's just
you
that
won't be paying it off.
No, it
post.
depends on. If you grew up really rich,
Yeah.
a silver spoon in your mouth, your number is very different, bro. And very few people have tenfold their dad in terms of numbers. I mean, Anthony Tan has just gone.
Yeah.
It's like, let's not talk about him,
Oh,
right?
God,
He's my
yeah.
buddy, right?
Yeah.
But he's tenfold.
Yeah.
100-fold.
Yeah.
But majority, the dad, you get this kind of money, you don't even threefold, you don't twofold. You're lucky if you don't burn that money. And then Gen 3,
Yeah.
third gen, just try not to burn all of it, that kind of thing. And that is really my train of thought when it comes to that. So you asked me the question, how many M is enough? I'm quite a simple guy. You're not. I'm a very simple guy. So have you? I think that the mental health and what you perceive as being successful,
Yeah.
not money, like you're happy with your wife, you're not getting a second, third, you have kids, and that just like it shows success, when you're with your kids and you're having fun, and you're just like you keep your shit together.
And do you really give a shit about what people think of you as successful?
Of recent years, no.
When did you stop?
Hustling, growing up younger, I was trying to build a name for myself. Could be like an Indian thing. I don't know. We all have our own complex.
Yeah.
You could have some chip on your shoulder. And when growing up, you're like, oh, I want to prove this and prove that. There came a point when, you stop chasing, you're just like, hey, you know what? I'm chill, man.
When did that happen? You probably know. You probably know at what point you kind of one day woke up and said, yeah, all right. Yeah, I don't need that anymore.
This, and it's not because I'm just trying to give you an answer, is when I had my kids, and not when they were born, like when I had my kids, my role changed a lot. It did. My hours in work, I had to cut. What was important to me, it changed like massively. It's like now my sole purpose in life is to make sure they're good, financially support them, and just do like whatever. And it really is like I mean it. Like stay married even. like you know what I'm trying to say. Like
yeah. I mean, look,
this is a bit much,
it's
right?
Very
like
hard. It is very hard to.
So I'm speaking from the heart and speaking from the mind. This is like, fuck. If you divorce, you lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
if you don't keep your shit together, it's bad.
Yeah.
If your daughters grow up, whatever, it's because you didn't spend enough time with them. I don't know. And I still haven't figured it out.
You're not going to figure it out.
They're only 5 and 7.
Yeah, correct.
I can't overparent. You're
I just only going to be able to know afterwards, in retrospect, okay, I did a shit job or I did a great job, right?
Yes and no, because how much is attributed to what you've done and your wife's done.
Yeah.
Overparenting's not good. Underparenting sometimes okay. As in like, in the deep end. Like what we went through.
That was
you
right.
just figured it out. Yeah. I don't know if my kids are going to be put in that test of figuring stuff out.
Did you ever get smacked as a kid?
No chance. For me.
You, yeah.
I got beaten with everything.
Right? And there's no way you can do that with your kids, right?
Dude, yeah, no way. One, their daughters, and two,
yeah, of course.
We're in a different era.
But I think if they were sons, you would have, right? Like there would be something. Come on.
I think that when you go to certain schools, you can't. They will talk and they will. Yeah. So it's not a physical damage.
Just send them to a local.
It leads to the mental damage of what you've done. How dare you hit me?
That you've got the question that's come from beyond the camera. If you had to do this all over again, I can answer this question for him. I know what he'd say. But anyway, if you had to do this all over, fuck yeah, of course you do it all over again. Hell, it was a fun ride.
No,
it was hard work.
The question was different or the same.
Would you do, if you had to do this all over again, right?
Would you have done it differently?
Would you have done it differently?
Or would you have chosen the same path?
Or would you have chosen the same path?
A very honest answer, yeah, from the heart, yeah.
It's a mix of some parts different, but a lot of it not being. A lot of it turned out to be good. Like they all, they were successful, turned profits. So a lot of it, won't change. But there's some things I'd tweak here and there, just because I think I could have done a few things a bit faster. Having that knowledge, I didn't have to go through the experience of learning it. Like learning it the wrong way, spending too much time understanding a character. When you talk about business and partners and human beings, you have to understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if I'm like, wow, I'm psychic, yeah, shit. It's like so easy to be like.
Yeah. But if you weren't, then this is probably the way you would do things, right? You're happy with the way things have turned out.
I'm super happy.
Right?
I'm super happy, and I like the way it's panned out. Not just business, but family and things like that. I'm in a very, very good place. Could I have, jumped on to a trend a bit quicker?
Sure.
Could I jump on to the tech acceleration, the .com boom? There's many things you could have. The crypto fucking rage.
When NFT was big, you could have jumped into that and
Of
jumped out
course you
right at the
can.
right time. Yeah.
But in the same breath, I would tell you that if you gamble hard like that,
yeah.
maybe I cannot sit here and tell you that I even have money to pay for child education. Who's not? You're a businessman.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they're gambles, right?
Yeah.
They all are.
Yeah.
Putting money here, how much does this make you for the time spent on it?
Yes.
That's really what it is.
That's exactly. I think that's what I was saying. If I, as a third person, if looking into what you've told me in your life and what I've known of you, right? I can't imagine it would have panned out in any other way. I can't imagine that. I mean, look, even back then, when we wanted to get into clubs, who did we call? Roen. It was as simple as that.
But that
right?
was being a popular kid.
No, it wasn't. No,
and
it wasn't.
doing
just,
business is
no,
different.
it wasn't. It wasn't
right?
just about the popularity. It was about your ability to make the right connections. Right from then, that we knew you. It didn't matter which bloody club we wanted to get into. You just called Roen, and Roen takes care of it.
Glad you remember.
Of course, I remember. How can one forget?
I still provide that service till today.
Yeah, I just don't club anymore. But
Same.
maybe if I have kids in the future,
Yeah.
we'll talk about it then. But no. So knowing you back then as well, and knowing that you knew how to meet the right kind of people, and you knew how to network. I'd imagine that this is where I knew it back then. When I first saw you, I was carrying shopping bags in Bangsar, going from Bangsar shopping center to my place, and you were in your first convertible driving. I was like, yo, Saga, how's it going? I knew it. I mean, come on.
That was a
It
vision board thing, by the way.
That was a
It's
vision
like
board thing?
you must have a convertible.
Yeah. Manifestation
You're
does
in
work that
Malaysia.
level.
You're in Malaysia. It's humid as fuck. Let's get a convertible. Yeah, I still do vision board stuff till
You do?
today, every year.
It does help, doesn't it?
Now it involves a meeting with my wife. That this is our vision board. And I still do it as a practice.
Vision
I
boards
think it's
work.
good to offload stuff like that. Like one of my mentors, Patrick Grove, good buddy of mine.
Yeah.
He's journaling a lot, and that's just good. Sometimes you put your thoughts down.
Yeah.
Like just speaking to someone about your thoughts, writing your thoughts,
Yeah.
putting pictures of your thoughts. It's the same damn
Some
thing.
call it manifestation, which is what a lot of people are talking about right now. But I
secret.
think it's the secret. Put it out there in the universe, and the universe brings it back.
I'm
to you.
not that extreme. I'm just quite simple. If I'm reminded of something that I want,
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
may find a way to somehow work towards getting that.
Subconsciously, even right.
And even if you don't, it's okay. It's like, could be a picture of a paddle racket. Like, it's like, so what? At least I'm like structured.
Yeah.
Because the thing is with being your own boss is that if someone doesn't ask you to go to office at 9, you just be like, you can very easily fall out of these
Yeah.
notes and stuff. So I got office at home.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
pin this
yeah.
all up. So I wake up, I gotta go to my office, like in my pajamas, do something. So you get what I mean, right? It's
Yeah.
like kicking your own ass in a way and reminding yourself, yeah.
Being your own boss, running things by your rules. Do you ever see yourself kind of saying, "Okay, done, retiring"? No.
So my brother, Roen Cian, he retired at 41. Okay? Facts.
Yeah.
Is he happier than before? He was very high strung, his tension stuff. But is he happier than before? I think no. I enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
Whether it's a consultancy job, whether it's talking to people,
Yeah.
I enjoy it. So will I stop it? No. And what would I do with myself?
Correct. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you should have another drink.
Yeah, we'll get another drink.
Thanks,
It's a
guys.
wrap. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.